Thank you for joining us for another episode of our Notebook Deep Dive podcast. These podcasts are based on either books, essays, or lectures I have written or given over the last 3 decades.
Welcome back, everybody. Ready for another deep dive. This time, it's all about vibroacoustic therapy. I'm hearing so much about this lately. Everyone's saying it's incredible for, well, everything. Less stress, better sleep, even pain management, all through sound. So I've got a stack of research here, articles, book excerpts, and I've got an expert here with me to help us break it all down.
It's amazing, isn't it, that something we usually only experience with our ears can affect the entire body so deeply.
It really is. So let's start with the basics. What exactly is vibroacoustic therapy?
In essence, it's using sound waves and vibrations to promote healing and well-being. Imagine you're sitting in a comfy chair, but instead of just hearing music, you're actually feeling it too through these gentle vibrations.
Okay, so like at a concert, when the bass really hits you.
Exactly. That's a good way to put it. It's that same kind of physical sensation, but controlled and targeted for a therapeutic effect.
So it's not just about feeling good then. There's actual science behind it.
Oh, absolutely. These vibrations actually interact with our nervous system, our muscles, even our cells. Think about how a certain song can give you chills or make your heart race. That's your body responding to those sound waves.
So vibroacoustic therapy takes that and amplifies it.
Exactly. It uses specific frequencies and patterns of vibration to create very targeted effects. Like one study showed that vibroacoustic therapy can actually increase deep sleep duration by 25%.
Wow, 25%. That's like an extra hour of the best sleep you get every night. Okay, so those good vibrations, they're literally doing something in the brain. Can you explain how these vibrations actually travel through the body?
Well, think about dropping a ball on a trampoline. The vibrations travel outward from where the ball hits, right? And sound waves are similar. They travel through the air. And when they come into contact with our bodies, they create tiny vibrations within our tissues. We perceive these waves as sound with our ears, but we also feel them.
So it's a full body experience.
For some,
Now, one thing that jumped out at me from all this research is that vibroacoustic therapy seems to benefit people of all ages. Kids, adults, seniors. It's not often you find something with that kind of range.
that's what's so fascinating about it. It's not a one-size-fits-all approach. It really can be tailored to individual needs.
So let's start with the younger generation. What kind of benefits are we talking about for kids?
Well, imagine a child who has trouble focusing in a busy classroom. It can be very overwhelming for them, all that sensory information coming in at once. Vibroacoustic therapy can actually help them process that sensory input better. It helps them focus, learn, and engage with their surroundings.
It's like giving them a superpower to navigate the world.
Exactly. And not just for kids who are struggling, it can actually enhance development for all children. You know, kids naturally love music and rhythm. Vibroacoustic therapy taps into that. It stimulates both their brains and bodies.
Now, what about adults? I think we're all dealing with stress these days. Can vibroacoustic therapy really help with that?
Absolutely. Remember how we talked about sound waves impacting our nervous system? Well, vibroacoustic therapy can trigger the body's natural relaxation response. It can also help with sleep, with pain management, even cognitive function.
So it's not just relaxation. It's like this multi-pronged approach to well-being. Okay, so
Okay.
what about the older generation? How does it benefit seniors specifically?
Well, as we age, we may face things like decreased mobility or changes in cognitive function or even feelings of isolation. And vibroacoustic therapy can help with all of those. There are studies that have shown improvements in balance and mobility, as well as cognitive benefits. And because sound is so powerful in creating a sense of connection, it can help seniors feel less isolated and more engaged.
So it's like vibroacoustic therapy kind of addresses the challenges that are specific to each stage of life. Now, we've talked about general benefits, but what about specific conditions? Can it help with things like chronic pain or anxiety?
That's where the real versatility of vibroacoustic therapy comes in. It's not a cure-all, but it can be a powerful complementary therapy for a lot of conditions.
Give me an example. How would this work for, say, someone with chronic pain?
Let's say someone has fibromyalgia, which causes widespread pain and fatigue. The vibrations from this therapy can actually help relax muscles, reduce inflammation, even stimulate the release of endorphins, our body's natural painkillers.
So it's not about masking the pain, but helping the body to actually heal itself.
Precisely.
What about mental health, like someone struggling with anxiety?
Imagine someone having a panic attack. Their heart is racing, they feel overwhelmed, it's hard to think clearly. Vibroacoustic therapy can help interrupt that cycle. It calms the nervous system, lowers those cortisol levels, and helps the person regulate their emotional response.
So it's like creating the sonic sanctuary in the middle of that internal storm.
Exactly.
And for sleep issues.
It can be a real game changer. It helps establish a relaxing bedtime routine, trains your body and mind to associate those soothing sensations with sleep.
Okay, so big picture. It sounds like this is a really powerful tool for regulating the nervous system, whether it's for pain, anxiety, or sleep. What about for like physical conditions, like recovering from an injury
No.
or even something like a neurological condition?
Absolutely. Imagine someone recovering from a stroke. They might be struggling with movement and coordination. The vibrations can stimulate blood flow, help relax muscles, improve range of motion, all of which are crucial for recovery.
So it's giving the body a little extra support to regain function. Now I have to ask, is this something anyone can try? Or do you need a doctor's referral?
It's a great question and an important one. Vibroacoustic therapy is generally considered safe, but it's always a good idea to check with your doctor before starting any new therapy, especially if you have any underlying health conditions.
That makes sense, especially if you're not sure how it might interact with anything else you're doing. Speaking of healthcare professionals, how do you even find a qualified vibroacoustic therapy practitioner? This isn't something you'd find at your local gym, right?
Haha, not usually. But there are professional organizations that often have online directories. You can search for certified practitioners in your area.
So, like an online dating site for health and wellness.
You could say that.
Okay, so what should people look for when choosing a practitioner?
Well, the most important thing is to take your time. Find someone who aligns with your needs and preferences. And don't be afraid to ask questions. Maybe even schedule a consultation to see if it's a good fit.
So building a connection with the practitioner is just as important as the therapy itself.
Absolutely.
What about resources beyond finding a practitioner? Are there books, articles, websites, places where people can learn more about vibroacoustic therapy on their own?
Definitely. There are some great books out there that provide a really good overview. One I'd recommend is The Healing Power of Sound. It's a great place to start. And you can find tons of information online, research articles, personal stories, lots of resources out there.
This is all so fascinating. But before we move on, I want to get your take on something. We've been focusing on how it can benefit individuals. But how do you see vibroacoustic therapy fitting into healthcare as a whole?
That's a great question. I think it has the potential to play a really crucial role in creating a more holistic and preventative approach to healthcare.
What do you mean by that?
Well, right now our system is very reactive. We wait until something is wrong and then we seek help. I envision a future where vibroacoustic therapy is used more proactively to maintain well-being, reduce stress, and prevent illness before it even starts.
So less about treating symptoms and more about cultivating health from the beginning.
Exactly. Imagine if vibroacoustic therapy was as common as yoga or meditation, something we all do regularly to support our overall well-being.
That's a pretty powerful vision.
I think that kind of shift could really revolutionize healthcare.
It sounds like a world with a lot more, well, good vibrations. And on that note, we'll be back soon with part 2 of our deep dive into vibroacoustic therapy, where we'll get even more practical and explore how you can start integrating this amazing therapy into your own life. Until then, keep those sonic vibes flowing. Welcome back to our deep dive into vibroacoustic therapy.
Glad to be back.
Me too. Last time we talked about all the science behind vibroacoustic therapy and all the amazing benefits for kids, adults, seniors. Now, I want to get practical. How can we actually bring this into our lives?
Yeah, let's do it.
So our sources talk about creating a vibroacoustic space at home. What does that even mean? Do I need like a special soundproof room or tons of equipment?
No, not at all. The key is to create a space where you feel safe and comfortable, a space that's conducive to relaxation.
So like think about where you normally feel most at ease.
Exactly. It could be your bedroom, a quiet spot in the living room, even outside if the weather's nice.
Okay, so no need to build a high-tech sound studio in my basement. Unless I want to, of course.
Exactly.
So once I've got my Zen space, what then? What about equipment? Do I need to, like, invest in a vibroacoustic chair?
Well, those are definitely options, but there are also much more affordable ways to get started. You can find handheld devices that deliver vibrations to specific areas, or even just use a good speaker system with your phone or computer to play calming music or nature sounds.
So literally starting with what I already have at home.
Exactly.
Okay, so what about the actual sounds and vibrations? How do I know what's right for me?
Well, it depends on what you're looking for.
Like, what are my goals?
Exactly. Are you trying to relax, relieve pain, sleep better.
Okay, yeah.
Your intention kind of guides you toward the right tools and techniques. Like if you're mainly aiming for relaxation, gentle ambient sounds, low intensity vibrations might be a good place to start.
Makes sense.
If you're dealing with chronic pain, you might explore more targeted vibrations, specific sound frequencies, ones that are known to help with pain management.
So it's kind of like choosing the right workout then. You wouldn't do the same exercises for building muscles as you would for flexibility.
Exactly. And just like with exercise, it's important to listen to your body, adjust the intensity and how long your sessions are, as needed.
Are there certain types of music or sounds that are, like, especially effective?
Oh, there are tons of options. Some people find nature sounds really soothing. Others connect more with classical music or even binaural beats.
Binaural beats, those are the ones that kind of mess with your brain waves, right?
Yeah, they use two slightly different frequencies, one in each ear, and it creates this third beat that can actually alter your brainwave activity.
It's like tricking your brain into a different state.
In a way, yeah.
So cool.
It can induce relaxation, focus, even make you sleepy.
Okay, I need to try this. So we've talked about the space, the equipment, the sounds. What about routine? I know I struggle with consistency when it comes to, like, self-care.
That's so common. But consistency is key with any new habit, and that includes vibroacoustic therapy.
So how do we actually make it stick?
So start small.
Don't try to go from 0 to 60 in a sonic boom.
Oh, just a few minutes each day, maybe 5-10 minutes, and gradually increase the duration as you feel comfortable.
Find a time that works and stick with it.
Exactly. Some people like to do it in the morning to set a positive tone for the day. Others prefer it as a midday break to de-stress, or even as part of their bedtime routine.
So many options.
It's about what fits your life.
Now, we've been talking about this as a standalone practice, but what about, like, how does it relate to things like sound baths or just listening to calming music? Is there overlap?
There is some overlap, yeah. But vibroacoustic therapy is much more targeted, intentional.
More focused.
Exactly. Imagine this. Listening to calming music is like taking a walk in a park. It's nice, relaxing, but you're not really focused on any specific destination. Vibroacoustic therapy is more like a guided tour of that park. You're still in a beautiful, serene environment, but you're being led to specific points of interest, so you can really experience them.
Okay, that makes sense. It's more deliberate. Okay, I have to ask, are there any risks to doing this? Downsides?
Vibroacoustic therapy is generally very safe, but there are a few things to be mindful of. As we mentioned before, it's always smart to talk to your doctor first, especially if you have any health conditions.
Make sure it's right for you.
Exactly.
Are there any specific situations where it's, like, not recommended?
Yeah, there are a few contraindications. For example, people with pacemakers or other implanted medical devices. They should avoid vibroacoustic therapy. The vibrations could potentially interfere with those devices.
Oh, wow, okay.
Pregnant women should also talk to their doctor first. There's not enough research yet on whether it's safe during pregnancy.
So better safe than sorry.
Always.
What about people who are, like, really sensitive to sound or vibration? Could it be too much for them?
It's possible, yeah. That's why it's important to start slow, gradually increase the intensity and length of your sessions. If you're working with a practitioner, they can help you adjust the therapy to your specific needs.
So find your comfort level.
Exactly.
Now, we've been talking about how this can help with different conditions, but can it also benefit people who are generally healthy, just looking to, enhance their well-being?
Absolutely. It's not just about fixing problems. It's also about cultivating a deeper sense of well-being, relaxation, inner peace.
Like a proactive approach.
Exactly.
Okay, so I'm ready to try this, but honestly, I'm feeling a little overwhelmed by all the possibilities. Where do I even start?
That's totally understandable. It's a lot to take in. Just remember, you don't have to do everything at once.
Ball steps.
Exactly. Start with what feels most appealing to you. Maybe spend 10 minutes each night listening to nature sounds, or invest in a handheld device to target tension.
Okay, I could do that.
The key is to start exploring. Find what works best for you.
So it's a journey.
It is.
What if someone tries it and it doesn't seem to be working? Is there anything they can do to, like, troubleshoot?
Definitely. Not every approach will work for everyone. Don't give up if you don't see results right away.
So keep experimenting.
Yeah. Try different sounds, vibrations, techniques. You might find that certain music or frequencies work better for you. Or maybe you need to adjust the intensity or length of your sessions.
So, like, finding that sweet spot.
Exactly.
Any other tips for getting the most out of it?
Approach it with an open mind and a sense of curiosity. Don't get too caught up in the details or try to force anything. Just be present with the sounds and vibrations and see what happens.
Just listen.
Exactly.
I love that. Now, before we move on to the last part of our deep dive, I want to bring up something that's been on my mind. We've talked a lot about how this can benefit individuals. But what about society as a whole? How do you see this impacting, the world around us?
That's a great question. I think it has the potential to create a ripple effect of positive change.
In what way?
Imagine a world where people are more relaxed, less stressed.
More connected to themselves and each other.
Exactly. As more people embrace this, experience the benefits, I think we'll see a shift towards a more peaceful, compassionate society.
That's a vision I can get behind. Now, before we go to the final part of our deep dive, I want to leave our listeners with something to think about. We've explored how powerful sound and vibration can be to heal and transform individuals. But how can we use this power to create positive change in the world around us?
That's a big question, and it's one that we'll continue to explore in our final segment.
Stay tuned, everybody.
We'll be diving into the future of vibroacoustic therapy and its potential to shape a brighter, more harmonious world.
We'll be back soon with part 3 of our deep dive into vibroacoustic therapy. Until then, keep those good vibes flowing. Welcome back to our deep dive, everybody. It's the final part of our exploration into vibroacoustic therapy.
I'm really excited to wrap things up with you.
Me too. Yeah, I'm still thinking about those binaural beats from last time. It feels like we've just scratched the surface of what's possible with sound and healing.
Oh, we've covered a lot of ground, but there's always more to discover. One thing we haven't talked about yet is the role of music specifically.
Music. I love that. I feel like music is such a powerful force on its own. I can only imagine how it amplifies the effects of vibroacoustic therapy.
Right. It's more than just listening to your favorite songs, though. The music used in vibroacoustic therapy is often chosen very specifically for its therapeutic qualities.
So less about, rocking out and more about tuning in.
Exactly. It's about creating a sonic environment that actually supports healing and well-being, like those binaural beats we talked about. They're a great example of how music can be used in a very targeted way.
Okay, remind me again how those work. It still feels a bit like magic to me.
So you're wearing headphones. Each ear gets a slightly different frequency. Your brain, trying to make sense of that difference, creates this third beat, a phantom beat, that you perceive as this pulsing.
And the pulsing can actually change your brainwaves.
Yeah, pretty amazing, right? It can shift your brainwave patterns and lead to different states of consciousness, like deep relaxation, focus, even sleepiness.
It's like a gentle nudge for the brain to shift gears. Okay, so beyond binaural beats, are there other specific types of music that are used?
Well, there are a lot of different approaches. It often depends on the practitioner and their training. Some focus on using frequencies that resonate with certain parts of the body. Others incorporate elements of traditional music healing practices from all over the world.
It sounds like there's so much to explore. One thing I keep thinking about is this idea of vibroacoustic therapy as a bridge between science and, I don't know, something more, something almost spiritual.
I think that's a really beautiful way to put it. It is grounded in science, measurable changes in brainwaves, heart rate, hormone levels. But there's definitely this element of something deeper, a connection to something beyond the physical.
It's like tapping into the body's own wisdom.
Exactly.
It's fascinating to me that science is starting to catch up to what ancient traditions have known for centuries, that sound and vibration are powerful forces.
And the more research we do, the more we're understanding how those ancient practices actually work.
Speaking of exciting new developments, where do you see the future of vibroacoustic therapy going?
Well, imagine personalized therapy programs tailored to your genes, your lifestyle, your health goals. We're already seeing AI-powered devices being developed. They can monitor your body's responses in real time and actually adjust the therapy as needed.
So like a biofeedback loop, but with sound.
Exactly.
Anything else?
Oh, the integration of virtual reality is another big one. Imagine putting on a VR headset and stepping into a virtual rainforest or a peaceful mountaintop, surrounded by healing sounds and vibrations that are perfectly tailored to you.
Wow, that's next level.
The possibilities are really endless.
So it sounds like the future of this is as much about technology as it is about ancient wisdom.
It's this amazing merging of the two, and I think it has the potential to really change how we view health and well-being.
So it's less about treating illness and more about, proactively cultivating well-being.
Exactly. And not just for individuals. Imagine vibroacoustic therapy in schools, workplaces, even public spaces, creating environments that promote relaxation, focus, social harmony.
Now that's a world I want to live in. Okay, so before we wrap up this deep dive, what's the one thing you want our listeners to take away from all of this?
I want them to remember that healing is a journey, it's not a destination. And sound can be such a powerful companion on that journey. So, whether you're dealing with a specific health challenge or just want to improve your well being, explore the world of vibroacoustic therapy with curiosity and an open mind. You might be surprised by what you find.
That's beautiful. As we wrap up, I want to leave our listeners with one final thought. We've been talking about the incredible power of sound and vibration, but I think the most profound healing often starts with simply listening to ourselves, to each other, and to the world around us. So keep listening, keep exploring, and keep those good vibrations flowing.
And may your journey be filled with harmony, healing, and joy.
This has been another fascinating deep dive. Until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and we'll see you back here soon for another deep dive into something amazing.
Thank you for joining us for another episode of our Notebook Deep Dive podcast. Please like the video, subscribe to our channel, and share what you have learned with others.